We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cage My IQ. I'm your host D-Bake. Today we will be previewing Bellator 260, which will be highlighted by the main event featuring Douglas Lima versus Yaroslav Amosov for the welterweight championship title. This is going to be a great card. We just had a couple weeks off from the last card of Bellator 259, and now we will be going into a nice stretch where they will be having a bunch of main events headlined by championships. But in the first fight on this card that we have a welterweight matchup between Demarques Jackson versus Lemminger. This is a pretty good matchup in itself, which we have Demarques Jackson, who is a decent striker, quick speed, and athleticism. And he has a nice leg kick that he uses time for time that is very underrated. He doesn't have great takedown defense, which is going to be a good news for his opponent. That might be a big outcome to decide who's going to win this. Then you got his opponent, Lemminger, who is an average striker with slower movement, but he has top-tier wrestling and he is strong on the ground. I feel like in this matchup, Lemminger is going to be able to get to the ground due to Jackson's much benign takedown defense. And he's going to use the ground pound as matchup to keep Jackson from using his very good speed and striking to wear down Lemminger. So in essence, Lemminger is going to wear down Jackson on the ground, keep him there in half guard, and move from there to full guard. And he's just going to ground and pound him. I could see a finish here in round 2 or 3, but I feel like this is going to be a unanimous decision victory by Lemminger, where in the first round he avoids some major shots that Jackson's going to put on him, and he's just going to take him down and wear him out for the unanimous decision victory. And it's going to be a win for Lemminger in this welterweight matchup. In the next fight on the card, we have a women's catchweight matchup between Vanessa Porto versus Joanne. This is usually a flyweight matchup, but because they added this fight on a week's notice, they're doing it under catchweight credentials, so they don't have to cut weight that fast. You got Vanessa Porto, who in our last fight lost to Liz Carmucci, and what many say was a pretty boring fight because there wasn't much action, and Liz Carmucci won just by having just a little bit more volume, even though the volume was low. Vanessa Porto is a Muay Thai style fighter that is more calculated with her striking, and she likes to change her stances a lot to try and confuse her opponent and then get herself in better position for her strikes. Then you got our opponent, Joanne, who's an out there sporadic striker with quick speed on her hands and feet. She uses a lot of feints and likes to get inside of you to make her range a little bit better for her shots. One of her knocks is she tends to gas out in some of her fights, and then she slows down a bit. With that as a case, I do like Vanessa Porto in this matchup because she has a better gas tank, and she can use her Muay Thai to pick him apart, Joanne, and get her tired a little bit more. And then with her changing her stances, she'll confuse Yara in the matchup. And I could see a second round knockout by Porto, primarily by a leg kick. But if she doesn't do that, I could see her winning by a unanimous decision in this matchup. I just feel like she is the more far superior fighter in this, who has fought better competition than Yara has. And then she has more in her repertoire to win this matchup in the long run. So I got Vanessa Porto by second round leg kick knockout. In the third matchup on this card, we have a men's featherweight matchup between Aaron Pico versus Aiden Lee. This was supposed to take place a few weeks ago, but got pushed back to this card, which is really good because it makes this card a more stronger fight card in overall. And I think this is going to be one of the fight of the night on this card for Bellator 260. First, you got a guy in Aaron Pico who has great amateur boxing background, that has a really underrated wrestling background as well. He looks to take his fighters to the ground, and he has the ability to knock opponents out at any given time. He needs to avoid getting hit when he leaves himself wide open. Sometimes when he's swinging at his opponents, he leaves his face wide open for a shot, and then at times he got knocked out because of it. But lately, he's been using a lot of the ground and pound with getting his opponent down by getting the inside of him, taking him down, and then just, like I said, just ground and pound him to victory. Whereas his opponent, Aiden Lee, he has a karate style fighting background, which I really like how karate style fighters are. That they use their range, that they use their hand to control the bout. They use it to keep the fighter at bay, to keep him at an arm's length range, so you can kind of use that as like a defense mechanism in case the guy throws strikes at him, which Aaron Pico will. He can kind of dictate how far away he is, so when he throws it at him, he can kind of back up and avoid some of the shot. Along with that, he has the height and reach advantage in this easily. But the one thing that Aiden Lee needs to do, he needs to improve his defense on the ground, which is a big worry for him in this matchup, because he's going up against a guy who's really good on the ground in Aaron Pico. And I feel like in this matchup, Aaron Pico is going to be able to get him down because of the height. He's going to get down low. He's going to shoot for a takedown. He's going to be able to get it, and he's going to keep him on the ground. Just wear him out. I don't think he's going to knock him out in this matchup. I think Aiden Lee is going to be able to persevere a knockout. It's going to be a tough out for Aaron Pico, but I feel like Aaron Pico is going to win this by a unanimous decision. In a pretty close matchup, I feel like he's going to get it 2-1. Aiden Lee is definitely going to show his worth in this division, but I feel like it's going to take Aiden Lee a little bit more time to get to the level that Aaron Pico is at this time. So in this matchup, I got Aaron Pico by unanimous decision. In the co-main event of the evening, which is a catchweight bout, we got Paul Daley going up against Jason Jackson in a very exciting fight that I think is going to be on the level of Aaron Pico and Aiden Lee. First, you got Paul Daley, who is a knockout artist who throws hard and has a sharp strike. And he's a guy that no matter where he is, you got to worry about that one knockout power shot. Just like at the last matchup that he had a month ago, it came back from the depths of defeat, where he barely survived the first round after getting knocked out and possibly and concussed, and came into the second round and knocked out his guys several times and finished him off with that deadly strike that he is most known for in his career. He's definitely going to have a spot in Showtime boxing and one of those celebrity fights in the future, since he's come to the end of his career, which is why he's been doing these catchweight matchups the past 2 or 3 fights in Bellator. But he is a threat at any moment to finish a fight. But he's going up against a guy named Jason Jackson, who has really good kickboxing skills, and has really good range. He knows how to use the range, and he knows how to use the speed. And then the X factor is he has really good wrestling skills as well. I feel like in this matchup, that when they first had the bell rang, Paul Daley's going to come after him pretty quickly, swing at him. He's going to try and get him finished early. And if Jason Jackson could just weather the storm for the first minute or two, I feel like he's going to be able to use his kickboxing just a little bit to set up the wrestling, where he's going to take down Paul Daley, who is susceptible to be taken down, and he's going to just wear him out on the ground. He's going to keep him on the ground, hit him a little bit, make Paul Daley wear his weight and try and get up from it to wear him down, because Paul Daley does get tired fast. It gets gassed, as you've seen in the past. And I feel like he's going to do that. And I don't think Jason Jackson's going to finish him. But I feel like this is a matchup where you can see Jason Jackson win by a second or third round submission, because Paul Daley is going to be gassed. He's not going to get knocked out. He could be beaten by unanimous decision, but I feel like Jason Jackson is going to go the extra length to try and get him with a submission. And I could see a third round submission by Jason Jackson. So in this co-main event, I got Jason Jackson by third round submission. In the main event of the evening, which is going to be a really solid matchup, we got a welterweight championship matchup between Douglas Lima versus Yaroslav Amosov. First, we got Douglas Lima, who has very good striking and knockout capabilities. He's known for his speed and movement, and then his jab is really underrated in his fights. No one talks about his jab, but when he gets his jab going, it opens up a world of hurt for his opponent, where he just guns for them, and then he winds up knocking them out or like dominating the matchup and winning by unanimous decision. Then you got his opponent, Yaroslav Amosov, who's undefeated. He's one of those combat sambo wrestlers, a la Habib, who pushes their opponent backwards to get them down. He uses their momentum against them to get that takedown. As I said before, he has elite level wrestling that combat with the sambo, and then he as well has a very nice jab, and his kickboxing is what he uses to add to all that in a nutshell. That's why he's undefeated. He has so much to his repertoire that his opponents have to game plan, not just for the takedown, but for the striking that he shows on his feet. This is going to be a tough matchup to call because it's 5 rounds, and Douglas Lima is one of the big stars in Bellator. But I'm leaning towards the challenger here, because this is a 5-round fight. I feel like Douglas Lima is going to want to keep this fight standing, but with that combat Zombo background, those fighters usually use that to their opponent's disadvantage, and they always find a way to get that opponent down and then just keep them down, and then they wear them out on the ground, and that's usually what the fight winds up being. It winds up being a ground game where the opponent has to fight at all lengths to get up. And if Yaroslav is anything like any of the other sambo fighters, he's going to be able to get him down, wear him out, and then just do a lot of damage on the ground as much as he can, because once the fight gets standing up, that favors Lima. I feel like early we get a lot of the sambo from Amosov, but I feel like rounds 3 and 4, I could feel like Lima could keep it standing up for those rounds, because Yaroslav's going to either tire out a little bit, or he's going to want to take a little bit off of the gas tank so he doesn't just put all of his eggs in the basket early. I feel like this is going to come down to rounds 4 and 5, and I just feel like that wrestler and sambo combination is going to be a lot to handle for Lima. I know Amosov hasn't fought the fighters at the level that Lima has, but with the contrast in styles that they have, I feel like this is a fight where that Amosov could steal it by 3 rounds to 2 rounds, or even 4 rounds to 1, unanimous decision victory to make him the new welterweight champion. But if the one thing he has to watch out for is that one shot that Lima can get on him, it's going to happen at some point in this fight. And it's going to be whether he can withstand it or if he can avoid it. But I still feel like I got Yaroslav Amosov by unanimous decision victory. That's going to make him the new welterweight champion, and to end Bellator 260 right here on Showtime. That's my Bellator 260 Douglas Lima versus Yaroslav Amosov preview show for you. As always, this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel because that's where all of our content is. We have, of course, our preview and recap videos for UFC, Bellator, PFL, and One Championship, as we do all of our interviews that we have on here. We have over 20 interviews, and then we're trying to grow more and more every day. We're already over 100 subscribers, so we're shooting for 200 now. So all the help that we can have to gain more subscribers is welcomed. And then we had three partnerships that we have now for to tell you about. The first one, of course, is 99 jerseys. Use promo code SportsBoxShow20 at checkout to receive 20% off your next purchase at 99 jersey. Then we got Oddsjam, which we're partnered with. It's the best place to find ways to make risk-free money bets on sports. They have the Arbitrator Calculator, and once you go to Oddsjam and sign up, you're never going to want to bet any other way again, because once you use Oddsjam, you never lose a bet because they show all the different odds that you can choose from to pick the best possible outcome. Go to our info section of this video to sign up on the link, and then let them know that we sent you. So click the link in the bio to sign up, so you don't lose a bet again. And then we're also partnered with High Tide Herbal. Use promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. High Tide Herbal is a company owned by coaches and athletes who believe in creating a world with sustainable health and wellness. They use CBD in their products, and then I use the products as well. Their soap are great. They're really good for the environment, and then they show results. So if you have an injury, they help you out. So once again, use promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. That would do it for this video. As always, I'm your host, D-Bake. This is Cage My IQ, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you for watching this episode of Cage My IQ on the Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at SportsBox Show, Twitter at SportsBox Show, Instagram at The SportsBox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.